Hello. So I am back again with yet another book haul because I have no self-control at this time. However, this will be the last book haul for the rest of quarantine, God willing, because I really need to stop. So yeah, this is the last one I'll be posting, hopefully for the rest of lockdown, unless lockdown goes on much longer. No promises then. But yeah, I have a lot of books that I need to read now, um so I have this precarious little stack here, so I'll just go right into it. Um so first up, I picked up this book, Small Spaces. This is by Catherine Arden. I believe this is actually for like middle grade. Yes, middle grade. It is about um let's see. It is about Ollie, um, who discovers this creepy book, and it's full of just really weird stories about people. And during a field trip, she realizes that there is a gravesite at this creepy haunted ass farm. And the graves feature the names of all of the people that were in the book that she was reading about. And um, she and the rest of her class are on a stalled school bus, and the bus driver tells them something is coming for them. So there's a fairy tale aspect, there's a mystery, there's creepy stuff. Um, it sounded pretty interesting. This cover is gorgeous. So yeah, I picked that up. Um, and pretty excited about this. Honestly, I think this is probably going to be one of the first ones I read because it just sounds really cool. Next up, I picked up The Supervillain and Me. This is by Danielle Bonos, and this is about a teenage girl whose brother is a masked hero in her town. She doesn't really give a shit about the masked hero thing or following in his footsteps. She doesn't have any superpowers, um, but she ends up connecting with the up and coming supervillain who saves her from an attempted mugging. And as she gets to know him, she learns that um, sometimes you can't trust heroes, and sometimes the good guys are a little bit in the gray area. I don't know. It sounds pretty cool. I kind of like the anti hero aspect of things, so that's pretty cool. Next, I picked up The Reader, which is book one of Sea of Ink and Gold. I haven't heard too much about this series. This is by Tracy Chi. Um, it is apparently about a world where reading is unheard of, and this girl finds a book, and it says it's the thing that can save her, but it's also the thing that can destroy her. That sounds pretty cool. So yeah, this is book one, so I figure see if this is something that I like. I mean, it's all about like reading and stuff, so that's cool. I hope I like it. It sounds really cool. Then we have some Meg Cabot books. Um, I grabbed up the graphic novel of Black Canary Ignite. I really find Black Canary fantasy fascinating, excuse me. I find it fascinating. I really am interested in the birds of prey. I think they're pretty awesome. And this is, I guess, a origin story for Black Canary, and it's written by one of my favorite authors, so I had to grab it up. Then I also grabbed um, books 2, 3, and 4 in the Notebooks of a Middle School Princess series. Which is an offshoot of the Princess Diaries series. And this is for middle grade, so I grabbed Royal Wedding Disaster, Royal Crush, and Royal Crown. So that is also pretty exciting. Also probably going to read those very soon, but I might reread the first book first, just because it's been a while. Next up, I grabbed The Sweetness in the Bottom of the Pie. This is by Alan Bradley. This got my attention because it is about an 11-year-old girl named Flavia in 1950, and she is an aspiring chemist. She's particularly fascinated with poisons, and she witnesses a man mysteriously dying, and this both freaks her out and fascinates the hell out of her. Sounds like she's a very quirky character, and this is supposed to be kind of a dark and book of deception and whatnot. So, sounds pretty cool. I'm into that. Next, I picked up. So I discussed this book already in my top 10 favorite authors um, video that I did. In the Time of Butterflies is one of my favorite um, books, and it's one of my, well, it's my favorite book by Julia Alvarez. And um, so I do have a copy already, but I found a copy that is in Spanish. And so I ended up grabbing this as kind of like a reward present to myself. I took Spanish throughout junior high and high school, and I got to be pretty good at it by the time I graduated from high school. But unfortunately, because I just wasn't practicing and wasn't using it, I lost the majority of it. But since the beginning of quarantine, I've been using Duolingo to refresh my memory on Spanish, and I've been kind of like, making my way through all of the lessons, and I'm got a pretty good chunk that I understand again. So this is kind of a reward to myself that when I finished with the lessons, I am going to read this book and hopefully not be terribly confused while I read it. Hopefully, I'll be able to understand a good chunk of it without having to look um, things up. But yep, I got that. Then I got a couple of nonfictions. So I found Alexander Hamilton Revolutionary. I absolutely love, 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 love Hamilton the musical. So I found this pretty great. Um, it says on the front cover, young, scrappy, and hungry, he was a visionary. So this is all about him. I'm pretty excited because while I do know much about him from the uh, play, and I have looked up things about him on Wikipedia, I'm very excited to be reading a full biography of Alexander Hamilton because that'll be really awesome. And then I picked up two of Carrie Fisher's memoirs. I picked up, I believe this is her first one, which is Wishful Drinking. That is kind of all about her life, or at least a good chunk of her life. And then I picked up The Princess Diarist, which I believe is her last memoir, actually, and this is all about her time when she was working on Star Wars. So I've never read anything by Carrie Fisher before, but I loved Carrie Fisher as an actress, and she seemed like a very wonderful, kind of quirky human being. So, pretty excited to be reading her memoirs. And then I found two more of the Paper Mill Press books that were very marked down. And they were books that I do not have and also have not read. So, yes. So I found this copy of Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. I don't really know too much about it except what has been kind of played with in movies. I never actually watched the one that came out. I think it was like Jack Black or something. I never actually watched that, but I've seen like the little, joke things about the Lilliputians, um, the little people in various movies and things like that. So, but I do know from what I've heard that this is like a kind of raunchy um, and pretty offensive for the time humorous book. So, pretty excited to read that. And then my final book that I picked up was Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I actually don't own a copy of this yet, so I was pretty excited to grab it. And I also I didn't actually ever finish reading this. I got partway through the book, but I wasn't like totally fond of the main characters, the Dashwoods, so I didn't actually ever um, finish it. So this is my kick in the pants to actually read the book to completion because now I'll have a copy and I don't have to like return it to a library or anything. So boom. But that is it. That is my huge ass stack of books that I got. Now I have to redo my shelves again, or at least kind of move things around a little bit. But yeah. So that is that. Um, I have a lot of reading to do now, so I'm gonna get to that. Hope you guys are, you know, surviving and living and doing what you can to have a good time. Um, Happy reading. See you later.